Hello friends! One of the things I personally like about Christianity is that it is simple yet highly practical. And it carries answers to the most pressing questions of an ordinary person's life. After all, we'll all agree that each of us seeks answers to questions like why we are here, what the meaning of our existence is, how to be happy, how to build healthy relationships, and so on. While Christianity provides thoughtful answers to all these significant questions and many others, the essence of the Christian idea will hold no real benefit for anyone if it is not effectively communicated to the individual who is genuinely seeking answers to these profound questions. How can we as Christians effectively influence this world in a genuine and natural way without coming across as religious killjoys who lecture our friends and alienate them with our beliefs? How can we effectively become the answer to these pressing and urgent needs of individuals by being the solutions they truly require? So let's discuss this today. And now let us take a moment to read a passage from the Gospel together. When Jesus was on earth, he, being the direct embodiment of God, manifested his works and nature. And he did this. The Bible states that, "Then Jesus went about all the cities and villages, teaching in their synagogues, preaching the gospel of the kingdom, and healing every sickness and every disease among the people. But when he saw the multitudes, he was moved with compassion for them, because they were weary and scattered, like sheep having no shepherd. Then he said to his disciples, 'The harvest truly is plentiful, but the laborers are few. Therefore earnestly pray to the Lord of the harvest to send forth workers into his abundant harvest.'" This is the Gospel of Matthew chapter 9. Look, first of all, he miraculously healed every single pain and suffering. In other words, it can be said that he consistently encountered and found thoughtful answers to every diverse need that people brought to him during his time with them. Secondly, when he observed the large crowds gathered before him, he also understood that he himself would not be able to adequately meet everyone's diverse needs. And he had compassion on them, seeing the crowds of people, seeing them as they were, as it is said in the Bible, weary. Or in other words, how they were tired, exhausted, confused, and lost in this life. And so, what is he talking about? He says, yes, there are indeed many people in need, a plentiful harvest available, but there are sadly few who are willing and able to serve these individuals and gather this harvest. What addresses these needs? He is talking about the workers, about individuals who can provide meaningful answers for these exhausted, weary individuals seeking help. Just as he was the answer, Jesus desires for us to be the solution to challenges. And before we proceed any further, allow me to share an intriguing story about an extraordinary man. His name was Desmond Tutu. He was born in South Africa during a time when apartheid and racism thrived. The dark-skinned population had no rights. They suffered oppression from the white population. As a young child, he once had a heartfelt conversation with a compassionate priest about all the overwhelming injustice he witnessed, the deep suffering of his people, and the painful experiences he himself endured. And he asked him several questions. Why is everything in life so incredibly unfair? Why is there such a significant inequality in our country? And why does God seem to do nothing about this situation? The priest looked at him and said, "God has already done something." He asked, "What?" "He created you." And then he suddenly realized that God's answer to all the rampant injustice in his troubled country was, in fact, himself and his actions. He started his in-depth studies in theology and became the first black Anglican bishop in his country's history. He became the leader of the non-violent protest movement for the rights of Africans, and thanks to his efforts, he witnessed the fall of the apartheid regime. For his outstanding work in promoting peace and understanding, he was awarded the highest honor, the Nobel Peace Prize, in 1984. And it all truly began when he stopped blaming God for the injustices occurring around him, and he made the pivotal decision that he was, in fact, God's answer. Friends, God has already sent the answers we seek into this world today through the wonderful people like you and me. We are the answer. We are the light of the world. We are the salt of the earth. How and what answers can we bring to people? The very first thing we bring to people in our lives is love. Every person needs love. The greatest need of the human heart is to be genuinely loved and to love others in return wholeheartedly. When the world grows increasingly harsh and unyielding, and the relationships among people seem to lack warmth, kindness, and genuine care for one another, we can, as devoted Christians, continue to be those who bring love and compassion to others. Christians, above all, actively carry love to those around them, extending kindness even towards those we do not yet know very well or have just met. We are called to be genuinely friendly and attentive to the needs of others around us, to never turn a blind eye to the suffering of another person, even if they happen to be a stranger to us, to be caring and sensitive to their pain and struggles, and to earnestly strive to help in any way we can, no matter how small. It can be through prayers and involvement in someone's life. Love melts any ice in hearts, and this is the best way to forge friendships to which we are also called. God reached out to us with His boundless love. He was not indifferent to the profound destruction of His beautiful creation. In His infinite mercy, He sent His only begotten Son into this world so that you and I might be saved, redeemed, and find true healing for our wounded souls. He reached out to people on earth, befriending tax collectors and sinners. He left us an inspiring example of such unconditional and deeply selfless love. The second answer we carry is prayer. Personally, no matter how many times I offer to pray for people, almost always, even someone who is far from faith agrees. Why? Because he genuinely wants his needs to be properly addressed and to receive a satisfactory response in return. And maybe he doesn't know if God exists, but he would like Him to help him. And so it may be about some physical healing, solving certain life problems, issues with finances, or family matters. People may not always be ready for a sermon, but they are generally receptive to having someone pray for them. And through sincere prayer, we can effectively release God's transformative power into people's lives, opening their hearts to the Lord's guidance. And thirdly, our third answer is our unique story, or as we also say, our personal testimony. Our personal story is the best way to share the gospel, as people are interested in hearing how Christianity has impacted your life, what God has done in your life, and how it has changed. And each of us possesses many such personal stories that we may not think much of, but for others, they are what truly matters and resonate deeply. You prayed and received an answer to your request. Tell others about it. Maybe you didn't know what to do, but you read the Bible and God gave you wisdom. Tell others about it. How have your family relationships changed or improved, and how have you changed? Tell others about it. It is precisely such simple testimonies that influence and change people's lives. My friends, we are responsible. We are the answer for this world. In conclusion, before His glorious ascension into heaven, Christ spoke about baptism with the Holy Spirit as the divine power that believers receive to effectively be witnesses of Him. He said this, "But you shall receive power when the Holy Spirit has come upon you, and you shall be witnesses to me in Jerusalem and in all Judea and Samaria and to the end of the earth." And it is truly the incredible power of the Holy Spirit with us, enabling us, as we mentioned, to love others, pray sincerely for people, and be devoted witnesses of Christ. Ultimately, when we positively impact the lives of others, we find that, first and foremost, we ourselves receive countless blessings from this experience. Witnessing how God profoundly touches and transforms someone's life through your actions and presence is truly one of the greatest miracles a person can experience on earth. Today's sermon will focus on this topic: